So for our first presentation, presenting Going Green, Keeping It Clean the Mold Buster Way, we have Mr. Charlie Leduc, representing Air and Odor Management. Mr. Charlie Leduc is the Communications Director with Mold Busters, which is located in Ottawa. He is the Mold Busters Communication Director, delivering multiple mold awareness seminars to real estate agents, brokerages, home inspectors, and business professionals. He also participated in trade shows, workshops, and has recorded numerous educational videos for mold busters. He is a certified mold inspector and remediator, and he currently resides in his hometown, Ottawa, and especially written here in his profile, can be regularly seen playing concerts with his band. So let us all welcome Mr. Charlie Leduc.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us here today. And I'd like to start by saying thank you very much to the Philippines Green Building Council for organizing this event and for hosting us so graciously. So if you could please help me, let's give a round of applause to them for So my name is Charlie. I'm the Communications Director with Mold Busters, a part of AOM Management. And we are headquartered in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. This is my first time in the Philippines, and I can tell you with sincerity that I absolutely love everything that I've seen so far. My background is actually in social work. So I graduated from Queen's University in Kingston with a master's degree in sociology, and then from there became a certified mold inspector. It's a long story in between, but all I can tell you is that I started out with helping people, and I'm still helping people, just in a different way. So a little bit about Mold Busters. So Mold Busters, we are leading indoor environmental experts. We've been doing this for over 15 years. So 15 years of quantified experience of assessing and correcting indoor environmental issues. These issues can range from mold, asbestos, bacteria, so on and so forth. Anything that will affect the indoor environment. We excel, or like to think that we excel, in delivering constant and consistent mold awareness education, effective online marketing, and of course, the very best customer service. We believe that educating not only clients, but also the public about what mold is, what it can do, and how it affects an indoor environment and the people around is crucial. We're a multifaceted company, so we do multiple different services in order to help people achieve a clean and green indoor environment. A little bit about our history. So the idea was rooted and spawned in Russia, and now our owners of the company who immigrated to Canada started this Mold Busters franchise in Ottawa, Ontario, which is where we're headquartered. From there, we expanded into Montreal, into Toronto, into other parts of Canada, and then, of course, it made perfect sense to travel right across the globe and set up shop in Singapore, Malaysia, and now proudly, the Philippines. We do have a secret, and we're going to share it with you, which may be counterproductive, as some companies would think, but our secret is very simple. It's not mold until it's tested. There are a lot, and we're going to go through a few quick examples to illustrate why this secret is so crucial. Because not every discolored problem is in fact fungus, and not every mold problem is what it seems to be. Sometimes it's much more in-depth and much more complicated than it seems. So this is an example of a brand new build in Canada. Everything was retrofitted to meet the current green building standards and guidelines in Canada. Energy efficient windows, proper heating, geothermal heating in this particular case, and in every capacity this was a brand new build. Now the clients, when they walked into the basement, which is what we're seeing here, observed an odor which they could not identify. And they were concerned because They just spent an inordinate amount of money building this home, and now there's this odor which they could not identify. And as you can see, walking into the basement, everything is in pristine condition. And we did our diagnostic tests. We read the humidity, we checked for moisture, we did infrared inspections. Everything turned out to be normal. Even we were scratching our heads as to what this odor could possibly be. So what we did is we collected indoor air samples. And what we discovered through the laboratory's analysis was that there was an exceedingly high count of a toxigenic mold spore. This was absolutely concerning to the customer and was perplexing to us as well. But based on the knowledge and based on the information provided in the laboratory data, we were able to determine where this mold could potentially grow. And if you look to the right of the staircase, that is a wall that connects to the mechanical room or the heating or boiler room. We removed the interior wall, and this is what we found. Oops. This is what we found hidden behind the wall. Now again, this was a brand new build. There was no moisture, no water intrusions, nothing had occurred that was outside the norm. The humidity levels were normal. Everything according to the guidelines and according to the diagnostics registered A-OK. But there was a substantial amount of mold growth on the building material. This occurred during the construction phase. There was improper guidelines and protocols in place, and there was improper supervision of how the building materials were stored in the outdoor environment. Rain had saturated the plaster and the drywall, creating mold upon installation, and then was hidden with another wall. And we see these kinds of situations often, where hidden mold is present, not necessarily the result of the indoor environment, but as a result of lackluster building standards. Another example on the opposite side of the spectrum was a ceiling in the shower area that was heavily discolored, and the clients were absolutely concerned for their children's health. They were convinced that this was mold. And when I did the inspection in this particular area, I looked at the ceiling and I thought to myself, without doing anything, yep, this is mold. We're going to prescribe a remediation plan and disinfect this environment. But we decided to do our usual process, which is testing it. First of all, the instant mold swab test that we performed on the discolored ceiling yielded negative results. That discoloration was not fungal in nature. There was no moisture, and as we could see, the humidity levels were within the average range. We concluded that these discolorations were non-fungal, and that we were able to prescribe a different type of solution that saved that particular client a lot of money, because mold remediation can be quite expensive. So in both cases, our objective is to provide an accurate analysis of the indoor environmental issues, whether they are current, whether they are from the past, or even preventative measures, by assisting on construction sites to ensure that building materials are adequately stored, prepared, and installed. What we know about mold is that there are over 10,000 different species of mold. Each of these species have their own unique properties. Each of these species can affect different individuals a different way. One thing is for sure is that all molds, no matter what species, are allergenic, which indicate that they have the potential for creating harm, discomfort, and unease within occupants of a building, office, or home that may have a mold problem. Within those 10,000 different species of mold, there are toxigenic and carcinogenic mold spores, which means that it could go from mild to severe. And without testing, we don't know exactly what people are breathing in. Now I notice a lot of people are putting their hands over their mouth, and I apologize, we're doing this right after breakfast. but it's the truth. What we see often is that not everything is what it seems. And that's why for the last 15 years, we've been fighting really hard to educate and make people aware that this could be a potential health concern, whether it's visible or not. Now, with mold, it's very tricky. It doesn't take very long for it to grow, as I'm sure some of you are aware. Anywhere between 24 to 48 hours after a water intrusion, mold can start to grow. If there's elevated humidity, if there's a lack of adequate ventilation, and there's an organic source, mold can form very easily. And in the Philippines, I've learned very quickly that you enjoy high humidity all the time, lots of rain, basically all of the right conditions for mold to grow. There's an aging infrastructure, there are a lot of new builds being done, a lot of building materials and practices that may need some refining. All of these are a prime opportunity for us, all of us, to educate each other on how mold can form, grow, and affect people within an indoor environment. Of course, mold can damage health, destroy building structures, and kill real estate deals. At the beginning, when I spoke about how we needed to identify the current problem in that pristine basement that didn't have any visible signs, one of the tools at our disposal was indoor air quality testing. This picks up on mold spores, which, by the way, are invisible to the naked eye. In fact, if I were to collect some air samples in this room, we would find mold spores without a doubt. Because mold is ubiquitous, right? It is common, it is everywhere. We can find it outside, on clothing, in the air. It's normal for mold to be present. But we need to be able to distinguish what are abnormal molds and what are abnormal levels or concentrations. And an indoor air quality assessment is a great tool because it's able to absorb these solid airborne invisible particles, and then an independent laboratory can analyze these particles under a microscope, identify them in their concentration, and then from there we can prescribe an effective remediation plan. So just a few different basics about air quality testing. They're essential, we find, in determining potential problems, especially hidden ones that we cannot see. And we use air quality testing as a means to establish whether a house, office, or building is deemed suitable for occupancy. Air quality testing for us is usually the first and the last steps for mold remediation. This introduces transparency. If we collect a sample before, we confirm a problem, we provide the solution to that problem, and then afterwards, a test is done post-remediation to verify that everything is okay. In the end, air quality testing will save people money and time, and should be mandatory, we feel, for the sale of any home, office, or building. Because it can protect owners, it can help buyers, and of course, give sellers peace of mind. Now, there are different types of air quality testing services and options that can be provided. There are non-viable, viable, asbestos, all sorts of different particles and means for testing the indoor air. And the beauty about air quality testing is that once you've established your client's needs and requirements, you can prescribe the right air quality testing service for them. We believe in assessing the individual client needs and their air quality concerns, and then putting together a client-specific air quality plan. Part of that plan should include reading CO and CO2 levels, humidity and temperature with every air quality test, as well as providing testing and diagnostic readings, and of course, sending these samples to an independent laboratory. Because we are involved in implementing the solution, we are not the ones that are analyzing the results. We send those off to a completely independent lab. They provide an unbiased analysis, and that data is transferred to the client in record time. Our process is exceedingly simple. It starts first by either a phone call, chatting with us on the web, sending us an email. We put same-day appointments, but that was before we came to Manila and realized what the traffic was like. And then afterwards, we provide a comprehensive visual assessment of the property. We collect samples to confirm or deny the presence of indoor contaminants. We send those samples to a third-party government-accredited lab, and then provide a full report with an action plan if necessary within 2 to 4 business days. So being able to provide an expedient and fast service for our company, we believe is crucial. Everyone's waiting. Everyone wants to move ahead and move forward. And as we know, when people are concerned about mold, they want a solution right away. They don't want to wait and worry about how it's affecting them, their children, or their employees. We understand the problem from the inside out. So we're not just textbook nerds, right? So beneath this suit is a mold remediator. So I've torn down walls, I've broken floors apart, I know what it looks like up in ceilings. So when we go in to inspect a building, and this is true with every mold buster and AOM employee, we know the problem from the inside out. This helps us in being able to establish a proper remediation plan and establishing the source of the problems. And our goal is to eradicate the source of the problem, not just put a Band-Aid on it, not just paint over it, but what is the source of the problem and how can we correct this? Because believe it or not, our goal is to never see the client again. That's our business model. If we do the job right, we won't have to come back every couple of months. It's kind of bizarre, but it works. And we need to ensure that there's no resurgence of growth. And we want to improve the overall air quality of the home office or building and give everybody the peace of mind that they deserve. We have a number of different tools at our disposal to help combat perhaps some of the congestion. Mold Inspection app is something that anyone could download. So for example, if you're a building inspector, a real estate agent, and you discover a potential problem, you could download our app, take a picture, write a description, send it along, and our team will receive it immediately and be able to provide you with assistance as quickly as possible. We also wrote a book. It's Not Mold Until It's Tested, which is available everywhere. And if you go to moldbook.com, you'll be able to download that book for free. And it's a Bible. It explains the ins and outs, everything about mold, air quality, the proper services, and the procedures in place that we believe are correct according to guidelines and our decades of experience. Lastly, we really believe in education. We believe, especially when we started this company in Canada, no one really knew about mold. Well, they knew about mold, but they didn't know how mold could really affect them. So education and awareness was our primary objective, and it still is that primary objective. We love to provide seminars, we love to educate our clients, and as a result, we put together an online course for anyone to take about air quality, mold removal, identification, etc. And you can visit our website at www.bustmold.ph and get all the information there. So I want to thank you very much for your time, and I know that afterwards we'll have a lot of time to speak with one another, and I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Charlie, for that very interesting presentation on understanding mold, and especially for project proponents in addressing their indoor environment quality issues for their project, for their barrier or green building projects. The importance of testing and understanding the quality of indoor air, which is suitable for our building occupants and users.